Hi, my name is Michelle Amir, and I will be presenting on the effects of self-monitoring on trauma-related off-task behaviors. So some background information. Self-monitoring consists of two processes, which include self-observation and self-recording. Self-observation requires a student to pay attention to their own behavior, while self-recording requires students to write down whether a specific behavior occurred or not. Self-monitoring has been used to improve attention, academic performance, productivity, decrease off-task behaviors in the classroom, and to promote behavior change. However, trauma can influence school performance, which includes attention. Trauma affects memory, language processing, information gathering, decision-making, and attention, and can also damage social, physical, emotional, and academic development. Self-monitoring has been used to treat attentional difficulties, and many previous studies have found that there was an increase in on-task behaviors and a decrease in off-task behaviors after the implementation of self-monitoring, which indicates that self-monitoring improves sustained attention in the classroom. So my research question was, how would the effects of a self-monitoring procedure influence the participants' off-task behaviors in the classroom? I hypothesized that the participants' off-task behaviors would decrease after the implementation of self-monitoring strategies, and his on-task behaviors would increase. So the setting took place in a Midwestern school that treats and educates children and adolescents with emotional and behavioral health challenges that could occur because of trauma. My participant was a 10-year-old male who struggles with emotional regulation and sustained attention, and he was chosen because he seemed most likely to benefit from the chosen intervention and his willingness to cooperate. So my design was a single subject A/B design. The independent variable was a self-monitoring procedure and goal setting, and the dependent variable was the participant's off-task behavior. This procedure occurred during his math and language arts class. Before the intervention, the students were taught how to fill out the report sheet and how to differentiate between paying attention and not paying attention. In addition, momentary time sampling was used, which means that every 5 minutes, I would prompt the students to circle either the smiley face if they thought they were on task or the neutral face if they thought they were off task. In addition, the students were also prompted to set goals. So they were asked before the intervention how many smiley faces they would like, and at the end they were recorded how many smiley faces did they get and if they accomplished their goal. So this graph represents the percentage of intervals with off-task behaviors in math. The baseline for the mean for the baseline was 53%, and the standard deviation was 34%. For the intervention, the mean was 90%. In addition, the standard deviation was also 19%. On day 2 and 5 of the intervention, the students' off-task behaviors had decreased down to 0 because of other classroom activities that disrupted the observation times. In addition, the trend lines for both the intervention and the baseline data have a small increase. However, the intervention trend line is lower than the baseline data. This graph represents the percentage of intervals with off-task behaviors in language arts. The mean for the baseline was 40%, while the standard deviation was 28%. And for the intervention, the mean was 30%, while the standard deviation was 31%. There was a decrease in off-task behaviors on day 2 of the baseline data because, again, the students had classroom activities which interfered with the observation periods. And there was an increase in on-task or off-task behaviors on day 11 during the intervention because sometimes when other students in the classroom were also off-task, my participant also became off-task too. So he was off-task on that day as well. So for the discussion, the results do support the hypothesis that the participant's off-task behaviors would decrease and his on-task behaviors would increase. Some noteworthy findings includes that the student would occasionally indicate to myself when he thought he was on task and times he thought he was off task, which indicates that he could comprehend between paying attention and not paying attention, and when he is off task and on task. In addition, the student would at times change his behavior and start to focus on the task given to him when he realized he was off task. And finally, his accuracy improved over time. So at the beginning of the intervention, he would only really circle the smiley faces. But after 3 or 4 times, he realized that when he was actually off task, he would circle the neutral faces. So future research, if I did this again, I would like to reinforce goal setting. After several times of prompting the students to indicate their goals, they never actually did. So I'd like to reinforce that if I did this again. And in addition, I'd like to decrease the interval time. 5 minutes gave the students enough time to get work done and to record off-task behavior. However, there were several times when he had off-task behaviors in between those 5-minute intervals, And so it'd be interesting to see a decrease in interval time, like a 3-minute interval time. In addition, there were limitations to the study, including the COVID-19 pandemic. I was able to go into the classroom, which was helpful. However, I had to sit far away from the participant, which made it difficult to see if he was actually on task or off task. In addition, there's a difference in observation periods because of other classroom activities. So there's a difference for the days in the intervention for between math and language arts. These are some of my references. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.